Ambe Steels, J Bancha, Diko Bancha. Pentagon International College, Tinkune, Kathmandu, where excellence prevails. Real, Jamghar Jaha, Real Party Pack Tyaha.
Proud to be associated with Kantipur News.
In the face of inflation and economic slowdown, the government has rolled out a monetary policy that walks a fine line between tradition and populism, promising fiscal discipline on paper, yet leaning heavily on crowd-pleasing promises in practice. Critics say it's a balancing act between economic prudence and political survival. Adding fuel to the national conversation, Prime Minister Oli has sparked debate by urging citizens to marry by the age of 20 or after and have at least 3 children by 30, a controversial pitch aimed at maintaining population balance. While some call it a call to action for the nation's demographic future, others view it as an intrusion into personal choices. And in the capital, the Kathmandu metropolis has unveiled its budget ceiling for the upcoming fiscal year, setting the tone for urban development, local services and infrastructure priorities amid increasing scrutiny over spending transparency and public accountability. Stay with us as we unpack these stories and more in the next few hours. Good evening, I'm Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Governor Bishwanath Podal announces monetary policy for fiscal year 2082-83. Experts call it traditional and populist. UNESCO removes Lumbini, the birthplace of Gautam Buddha and a World Heritage Site, from its list of potentially endangered sites on grounds of conservation-friendly efforts. US President Donald Trump says he will impose a 35% tariff on Canadian goods starting August 1st, announces blanket tariffs of 15 or 20% on most trade partners. And Nepal playing against Bhutan in their first match of SAF Under-20 Women's Championship. Second match scheduled for July 29 against Bangladesh. Nepal Rashtra Bank NRB has released its monetary policy for the fiscal year 2082-83, focusing on productive sectors by raising credit limits for share transactions and housing loans. Unveiling the new monetary policy today, Governor Bishwanath Podal announced that the loan limit for residential housing has been increased to 30 million Nepali rupees for private housing construction or purchase. Previously, the maximum allowed was 20 million.
बैंक तथा वित्तीय संस्थाको कर्जा लगानी क्षमता बढाउने, कर्जा व्यवस्थापनलाई सहज बनाउने र पुँजीको सुदृढ बनाई वित्तीय स्थायित्व कायम गर्ने कार्य प्राथमिकतामा रहेको छ। साथै सम्पत्ति व्यवस्थापन कम्पनी स्थापनामा प्राथमिकता दिई बैंक तथा वित्तीय संस्थाहरूको निष्क्रिय कर्जा र गैर बैंकिङ सम्पत्ति व्यवस्थापनमा ध्यान दिनु आवश्यक छ।
Nepali citizens traveling abroad can now exchange up to $3,000 worth of foreign currency. This is an increase from the earlier limit of 2,500. The limit for share secured loans has also been raised from 150 million to 250 million. Institutions to increase lending by 12% in the upcoming fiscal year as well. The upper and lower bounds of the interest rate corridor have also been reduced, which is expected to increase liquidity in the market. The monetary policy also includes programs related to payment systems, access to microfinance, consumer protection and anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing. Now, while floods and landslides caused by post-monsoon rains continue to disrupt daily life in various parts of the country, the Madhya Province government has declared the region as a drought-affected area. The decision was made during a cabinet meeting of Madhya Province government held yesterday evening. Citing environmental imbalances and delayed rainfall that disrupted paddy plantation, along with the formation of cracks in already planted fields, the government declared Madhesh a drought-affected region. The meeting also decided to request the federal government to announce a special relief package for farmers affected by drought in Madhesh. Likewise, the provincial government resolved to call upon donor agencies active in the agricultural sector to provide necessary assistance. The meeting also decided to mobilize necessary resources and means to address the ongoing drinking water crisis in various areas, including Birganj in the Parsa district. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO, which works in the fields of education, science and culture, has removed Lumbini, the birthplace of Buddha and a World Heritage Site, from its list of potentially endangered sites. The decision made at the 47th session of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee, currently underway in Paris, France, on the grounds that conservation-friendly improvements and efforts are ongoing in Lumbini. The committee therefore decided not to keep Lumbini on the endangered list for 1 year. At the meeting chaired by Professor Nicole Nenov of Bulgaria, the committee also decided to send a reactive monitoring mission to assess the overall status of Lumbini. According to Senior Director of Lumbini Development Trust, Gani Rai, the final decision on whether Lumbini will be relisted as endangered or not will depend on the report from this mission following their field visit. Previously, in 2022, the World Heritage Center and ICOMOS, which is International Council on Monuments and Sites, which works on heritage conservation, had sent a reactive monitoring mission to Lumbini. The mission, involving heritage experts Roland Lin and Professor Karia, produced a report that led to Lumbini being listed as a potentially endangered site in 2024. Following that listing, various efforts were made to get Lumbini removed from the danger list. UNESCO positively assessed the integrated management structure and revised strategic plan implemented for Lumbini's protection. UNESCO also acknowledged the conservation of archaeological objects, visitor management and the preservation of the Ashoka pillar, as well as efforts in sanitation and the use of technology to prevent seepage and structural damage. The removal of Lumbini from the endangered list was made possible by a comprehensive, well-structured and results-oriented plan. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has advised youth to get married after the age of 20 and have 3 children by the age of 30 before focusing on their careers. Speaking at an event in Kathmandu today on the occasion of World Population Day, Prime Minister Oli said it is necessary to encourage young people to have children, adding that it is best to have children during their most fertile years.
20 वर्षपछि बिहे गर्न उमेर खोलिएको छ सरकार भन्यो भने फेरि केहीले इस्यु बनाएर पुग्छ तर हाम्रो तराईमा कल्चरले नै 20 वर्षसम्म छोरी टिकाउनु भनेको साह्रै गाह्रो कुरा भइरहेको छ अनम्यारिड हिसाबले टिकाउनु धेरै गाह्रो कुरा भइरहेको र मैले उहाँहरूलाई भनेको थिएँ युथहरूलाई कि सकेसम्म 20 वर्षपछि तुरुन्तै बिहे गरिहाल्नु छोराछोरी 3टा बनाऊ 3टा छोराछोरी छिटो 30 वर्षभित्र 3टा छोराछोरी बनाऊ अनि काममा लाग्यो.
Prime Minister Oli also stated that capable and healthy citizens can contribute to the country's development. He expressed dissatisfaction, saying that the country is already overwhelmed by excessive critical thinking. According to National Population Policy 2025 and data from 2021, the population growth rate in 34 districts and 390 local levels, including the Himalayan region, is negative. The overall national population growth rate stands at 0.92%. Likewise, for every 100 girls born, 114 boys are born in the country. The budget for the upcoming fiscal year 2080-83 of Kathmandu Metropolitan City will be presented on Sunday. In today's meeting of the Municipal Executive, Mayor Balendra Shah announced that the Municipal Assembly will be held on Sunday with the Executive Committee meeting at 9 a.m. and the Municipal Assembly at 2 p.m. Although the committee had not met for the past 6 months, today's meeting was convened but concluded after presenting just one agenda item. Earlier today, the Revenue Advisory Committee of Kathmandu Metropolitan City also set a tentative budget ceiling of 25.11 billion for the next fiscal year. According to Metropolitan Office, Mayor Shah instructed that more budget should be allocated to infrastructure development in line with public demands. The Revenue Advisory Committee also decided to increase the infrastructure development budget. For the upcoming fiscal year, the budget allocation limits include 3% for economic development, 14% for office operations and administration, 51% for infrastructure development, 20% for social development, and 12% for good governance and interrelated sectors. It is time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
The question is, what do you think of the rise in size of the country's economy by 400 billion rupees? Your options are A, indicator of an improving economy, B, natural process, C, can't rely too much on just numbers, and D, no comment. Visit www.kantipurtv.com or ekantipur.com to share your opinion with us. Welcome back. The flood that struck Rasuagadi border area on Tuesday caused significant loss of life and property. Search and rescue operations and damage assessments are still ongoing. But since the flood in Rasua, a village in Barbardia municipality of Bardia has been plunged into mourning. 5 people from this village have gone missing due to Rasuagadi flood. Our correspondents Kamal Panthi and Regina Molla prepared a report after reaching the village.
In Barbardia Municipality 10, the family of Bhim Bahadur Chaudhary was devastated to learn that his son Santosh, nephew Buthiram and son-in-law Jeevan were swept away by the flood that hit Nepal's border area with China at Rasuagadi. Jeevan's wife Anita is 4 months pregnant. She hasn't even eaten since hearing the news.
अनि तो फेको तो फोटो खिचेर हाल्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो फोटो खिचेर हाल्दै कुरा भयो लास्ट त दिदी भनेर चाहिँ बोले कुरा गरे भने त्यहाँ बोल्नु पाएन भोलिपल्ट हिजो त यस कुरा सुनियो
मेरो चाहिँ केही तीन जना परिवार भित्रमा विपत्ता भएपछि सिद्धिएपछि सरकारले केही हेर्दिन्छ कि भन्ने अपेक्षा हो सर.
Suresh Tharu from Barbardia 9 had gone to Rasua on 21st of the Nepalese month of Asar after finishing rice planting. He is also missing in the flood. The victims' families have urged the government to carry out rescue operations as soon as possible. Lakshmi Narayan Tharu from Ward number 6 of Badhayatal Rural Municipality has also gone missing in the flood. With 5 people from Bardia missing, the local administration is coordinating with Rasua administration for search efforts.
अहिले भनौं न हाम्रो यहाँ कता विपन्न समुदायहरु नै छन् कामको रोजगारीको सिलसिलामा गएका थिए अब यहाँ खानाले समस्या छ कि कस्तो समस्या छ कोही आमा बुवा पनि हुन सक्छ आमा बुवालाई पनि अब त्यो ठाउँमा जाने इच्छा होला तर अब पैसा नहुन सक्छ भाडाको समस्या हुन सक्छ र त्यही भएर कहीं हतारमा गइहाले कहीं यस्तो अहिले भनौं न बर्खा चलिरहेको छ फेरि बाटैमा बलक हुन सक्छन् त्यही भएर सबै कुरालाई एउटा सचेतना गराउँदै उहाँहरुले पनि आश्वासन दिनलाई केही हामी आजै बिहान पनि सबै घरमा पुग्यौं
प्रहरी उहाँहरुको घरमा पुगेर यकिन गरी उहाँ व्यक्तिहरु हुनुहुन्छ हुनुहुन्न भन्ने यकिन गर्यौं यकिन गरिसकेपछि त्यो सूचना हामीले सार्वजनिक सूचना पनि गर्यौं र हामी निरन्तर रसुवा प्रशासनसँग सम्पर्कमा छौं रसुवा प्रशासनसँग आज एकछिन अगाडि पनि कुरा हुँदाखेरि खोज तलासको क्रम जारी छ अझै उपकरणको अभावमा बृहत खोज तलास हुन सकेको छैन र उहाँहरुको बारेमा स्थिति अज्ञात छ भन्ने खबर आएको छ.
Due to lack of employment opportunities in the village, many youths from Bardia travel to various parts of the country to work in development projects after finishing rice planting. 2 years ago, 5 youths from Tharu community in Barbardia went missing in a flood while working at the Super Hewa hydropower project in Sankwa Sabha. The government later declared them deceased. With Regina Molla on camera, a report by Kamal Panthi for Kantipur News, Bardia.
India has opened the gates of Dhauli Ganga Dam, which flows into Mahakali River early Friday morning, resulting in a rise in the river's water level. According to Indian side, the gates were opened urgently due to excessive water in Dhauli Ganga power station's reservoir and the need for silt clearance. Following the increased river flow, residents in riverside areas along the Mahakali River have been advised to stay alert. Authorities have specifically urged people living near the banks of Mahakali River in Dharchula and Baitari districts not to enter flood-prone areas. The NHPC, which is National Hydroelectric Power Corporation of the Dhauliganga Power Station, stated that the dam gates opened around 1:30 a.m. on Friday and are expected to remain open until Saturday afternoon. Welcome back. It's time now for a sports update.
Sports news.
In their first match of SAF Under-20 Women's Championship, Nepal are playing against Bhutan. The match, currently underway at Bosundhara Kings Arena, kicked off at 5:45 p.m. Nepal time this evening. India is not participating in the tournament. However, Nepal's head coach Yam Prasad Gurung stated that the level of competition remains the same even without India. Speaking at the pre-match press conference held yesterday, Nepal's team captain Birsana Chaudhary said all the participating teams are strong. Nepal is entering the tournament with the goal of winning the championship, especially after losing 3-0 to Bangladesh in the final of SAF Championship held in Bangladesh 2 years ago. In recent years, Nepal and Bangladesh have often faced each other in the finals of women's SAF tournaments. Nepal still considers Bangladesh their main rival this time as well. The Nepali team trained for 1.5 months before traveling to Bangladesh. The coach believes that since this team will form the base of the senior national team in future, the players will give their best and perform with dedication. Nepal will play its second match against Bangladesh on July 29 and the third against Sri Lanka on 31st of July. Norway advanced to the the quarterfinals unbeaten, while host nation Switzerland achieved a historic milestone by reaching the final 8 for the first time in Group A of the Women's Euro 2025. Norway defeated Iceland 4-3 at the Stockholm Arena. Coach Gemma Granger rested several regular players, giving a chance to 20-year-old Sinje Gobsed, who emerged as the hero of the match. She scored 2 brilliant goals in the first half and provided assists for both goals scored by Frida Manum in the second half. At 20 years and 22 days old, Gobsed became the youngest player in Euro history to score 2 goals in a single match. Although Iceland took the lead in the 6th minute, Norway equalized in the 15th minute through Gobsed's volley. In the 22nd minute, Gobsed scored again with an individual effort to put Norway ahead. Manum then extended the lead with goals in the 49th and 76th minutes. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Our colleague Rupa Kharka will join you at 7 p.m. with more news in Nepali. Bye for now.